Welcome to another episode of Russell's Rockin' Chair. Uh, gonna be playing a video today of me playing with Northwest Tempo and just kind of talking about what's going on with the dynamics of the band, things that we're doing technically and emotionally and whatnot. Um, yeah, let's start with some dates. So today, I got getting the band back together with Russ Miller on guitar, Steve Cleveland playing piano, Patrick Harry's going to be on bass, Adrian Baxter on sax and flute, and me on drums. We had an all-star band in my living room at 2 p.m. on a Monday. It's pretty cool, man. It's been a slow, steady progression glacially of picking up really awesome musicians, and like here we are, which is really fun. Wednesdays I'm doing my guitar summit. So far I've gotten a handful of people to show up for that, and it's been really fun, where we sit around and talk about guitars and stuff like that. By the way, you probably noticed that I dyed my hair ever since I discovered henna, and that it doesn't stink up my house and stain my bathtub for absolutely forever. I started dyeing my hair again, which I've only done twice before that, and then or maybe 3 times, and then now that I'm doing this, now that I discovered henna, it doesn't stink and it's somewhat natural. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Because I have students that think that I'm 65 years old. They're like, how old do you think I am? It's like, I don't know, 60, 65? because my hair is so great. Also, I just pushed the touch up appearance button, and if you'll notice that it makes my beautiful visage all the more beautiful. I'm just kidding. Now I'm ramping it up to the level of the absurd here. And I'm realizing that some shows and stuff that I watch, they do this. Like you make yourself look like a blurry almost with the effect. So anyway, slowly taking it off, and this is the very subtle setting for touching up my appearance. I'm going to turn it off because that is weird to me. Let's see. Okay, so we've got on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I go out to David Ward's place in Cobb, and that's another situation that I think about it and I just sort of pinch myself. I'm like, I'm getting one-on-one training from a lifelong educator. He taught for 30 years. Teaching CAD and all kinds of stuff over there at PCC, and I'm getting one-on-one training with this dude for how to build one of the least expensive housing you can possibly get your hands on for the most natural environment. And he's just showing me every day with a super cool, positive attitude, putting up with my ignorance, and it's pretty cool. So if you ever want to come and hang out with us and do some cobbing, it would be a tremendous help. And like I tell you, even if you've done some building before, you will learn a lot. David is a fountain of knowledge. Yesterday I played with Northwest Tempo over at Mount Carmel, and I'm going to play some of that video today. Just to kind of go through it, director's commentary style, and talk about what we were thinking. I've often said that if you give it a day, or maybe give it a week after you've made a recording of some kind, you can forget what it is that you were trying to do, and you can just hear what you actually did. So if you forget what you were trying to do, and you remember you hear what you actually did, sometimes it's really cool, even if it is like technically a wrong note. There's a blues on the Mount Tempo thing, I started out with a wrong note right away, and now that I hear it back again, I'm like, I like that. That's cool. At the time, I thought, oopsie. But okay, so October 13th, the Lynn Street Din is going to be at Alberta Pub for our usual second Sunday outing. And October 13th sounds like a spooky date to me, so I think we're going to play some spooky tunes. Newport Nightingales are going to be at the Corkscrew Wine Bar again. I'm going to be playing bass with those guys, with those gals, and those kids. They are really beautiful vocal harmonies. They practiced for years before before they even played a show, and they were already trained singers at that point. But yeah, really fun vocal jazz outfit. And speaking of outfits, they wear matching outfits, and they'd have dance moves and the whole thing. And you can go see them there at Corkscrew Wine Bar for the price of a glass of wine, I believe. So come on and check that out. And that's right in my backyard here in Selwood. All right, the Lynn Street Din is going to be playing at the Selwood Community House at 6 p.m. on October 26th. Come out for that one. It's going to be a trio. We're going to play for an hour, and it's going to be me and Steve Cleveland and Patrick Harry throwing down. Northwest Tempo is again going to be at Bethel Lutheran Church, 4 p.m. on October 27th. I think that's right. Yeah. And so if you have any questions about any of this stuff, especially the having to do with cobbing or lessons or anything like that you want to take, go to that little banner down there at the bottom. That's my website, and then go to the Drop Me a Line tab, and that will get you there. All right. Let's take a look at this thing. So oh yeah, you know what? Seeing that reminds me that I wanted to introduce everybody here to the Yellow Peril. This was a guitar that every guitar has a story, and every good story has some bitter and some sweet. And so this guitar was, for me, is a great example of having everything you need without even knowing that you had everything you need. When it comes to tone for guitar, it's something that you're always searching for, and or at least I have been really searching for it in the last few years, trying to face the fact that I play electric guitar. Whether or not I'm playing an acoustic guitar run through an amplifier, 99 times out of 100 that I'm playing guitar in front of people, I'm going to have to electrify in some way. And I've just finally kind of come to terms with that here's where we are, So I used to kind of disguise the fact that I played electric guitar like by playing acoustic guitars and then altering them to the point of making them practically magnetic electric guitars already. And at some point you are just kind of slapping a microphone or a pickup onto something that looks like an acoustic guitar at that point, if that makes any sense. And so I've got this thing here that has a beautiful sustain to it, right? These just rings forever. Makes you want to get Frizzelian with it. love this guitar. Loved it for years. It was really ugly when I got it, and this is part of the bitter and sweet here. I had a good friend up in Bellingham who introduced me to a lot of really cool things. My friend Kevin, and he introduced me to yurts. He had two, like a 30-foot yurt and a 20-foot yurt outside of Bellingham, Washington. And one yurt he had the kitchen in there, and like a little bit like a place to watch a movie. And then so kind of man cave and kitchen sort of combined, little dining room, all in the one 20-foot yurt. And a 20-foot yurt is bigger than you'd think. I know it doesn't sound like much, but then he had another 30-foot yurt that he used for sleeping in and for having like practices in. You know, we'd have these long forever jams at his place. It was really fun. He introduced me to what's the word I'm looking for? To saunas, hot water. Jesus, it's hot steam. This is something I'm realizing after a year of doing this, that I perhaps have little to no talent for for talking to a camera. It's one of those things where I have so much more respect for comedians and podcasters and stuff that I can hear that can just flow at this high speed. I just have to I have to stop and reflect for a minute. It's amazing to me that people can just go and go and go so fast, because it isn't clearly after a year of watching myself on camera. I mean, occasionally watching myself on camera and going, because I put these things out and I just forget it. I just walk away like it never happened. I go, but yeah, I've been just noticing the way that I can hardly speak. So it's fun to do interviews and stuff like that with people, and I love the idea of it. But is it harder than it looks. So anyway, yeah, over at Kevin's house we would jam out. We would go into the sauna. He got me into. He wrote a really interesting article about all the scandals of the Bush era, and probably was part of the reason I was crazy about politics at that time. Because it was I just had he had a daily daily recording of the week's scandals. You know what I mean? Here's all the scandals that went on today, and here's all the scandals that went on today, and once you kind of get an eye for that, you'll notice that there's scandals all the time, and then then it breaks your heart, and then you got to do something else. But anyway, Kevin was great, and he sold me this guitar for $25. And the reason he did that is because he was selling me an amp for $200. And I was like, hey, how about that ugly guitar that you have in the closet there? Because I just thought it was kind of a piece, But he told me about it, and it was a friend of his that it was painted by a friend of his. It was purchased by a friend of his, and painted with this horrific sunrise on the face of the guitar, and it was just heinous. I mean, I never really wanted to play. If I took it out, people laughed at it. It was this beautiful gold sparkle originally. Right, I never got to see that, it just got shellacked with this horrible painting. You can actually see some of the paint left behind on it. Now, one of the other reason that Kevin sold me the guitar, and here's the bitter part, is that sold me the guitar for $25. The kind of the bitter part about it is that he told me that I was never to take off that Sunrise, that it was put there by somebody who was really, really special to him, and I was never supposed to take it off. And so I just sort of complained about it, about how it looked and everything like that. I had no intention of ever taking it off, but I didn't play it much because I was again trying to do this acoustic guitar thing, which involves like really heavy. Well, for the style that I was playing, if you were playing with like a group of 3 or 4 or 5 guitarists all banging out rhythm, if you wanted to be heard on a lead, you had to hit it, you know, and it was definitely like, you know, kind of a machismo thing. Like you had to be able to like get that thing up there and heard, or you know, you just disappear. And there were people who could do it. They could play incredible rates of speed and precision and beauty with the volume, which was incredible. But that kind of thing does not really translate to an electric guitar that well. I'll give you a little example. If I turn this guitar down and I hit it, you know, like I would hit an electric or an acoustic guitar, right? I end up with no sustain and kind of a certain sound. I mean, it's cool for like, you know, for like certain rhythm things and stuff, but if you're trying to play like something, you know, right, and you're coming in there playing it like, no, that ain't it, right? That ain't it. So anyway, I left this guitar, you know, because it was ugly and because I wasn't playing much electric guitar. I kind of left it in a closet myself, which I hate doing. I hate putting instruments in the closet and not using them. So I had a friend who asked if he could borrow it because he was really impressed by the pickups and he wanted to do some recording with it. So he borrowed it, and he borrowed it for an uncomfortably long period of time, and kind of wouldn't give it back, and I finally kind of demanded it back, and he brought it back over, and he was a guy who worked with paint, worked with you know, with stains and things like that, and he just had nicked the whole thing off without asking me. And there I was going like, oh, okay. Now, you know, Kevin and I had already lost touch a long time ago because I moved away from Bellingham and other reasons. But you know, I had tried to keep my word to him that I was not going to change the look of the guitar. It also has this on the back. That never went away. Clearly labeled. So anyway, so I got it back and I was like, whoa, okay, you just did that. You just totally altered the guitar, but that's cool. At least I got it back. And really, I mean, he told me what he was going to do. He was going to re-gold top it. So his plan was to, and then, you know, surprise me with it, which I was, you know, by the time, when he handed it back to me, I just was happy about it because I was like, whoa, cool, it looks better. And you know, Kevin will never know. But then a friend ran into me, saw this guitar, another friend who worked with Kevin or something, and tried to put us back in contact, and Kevin wanted to buy this back, and I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, like it's been changed, and I've never really heard from Kevin again since, which is a bummer. But I have other instruments that seem to that are beautiful instruments / signifiers of the end of a relationship or friendship, So too bad. Hopefully Kevin can get over it someday. Wasn't my fault, man. But yeah, I love this guitar, and it just earned its nickname yesterday. After all these years of having it. So what I've been doing is running it like right here for rhythm, and then here for leads. And you can see where I used to, hit so hard that I would actually hit the pick right here. You can kind of see a little wearing in the yellow there if you look at it. But yeah, nowadays I'm softening up a ton and trying to get a nice tone. And yeah, this guitar is kind of a reminder that you might sometimes you get lucky and you get early on, you get a really nice instrument, and if you just learn how to play the damn thing, you can sound real good on it. Incidentally, this is a Matsumoku factory lawsuit guitar, as they call them, with a fake Gibson. It says Sakova right here, but they try to make it look like the word Gibson if you move it around and look at it from a distance. So these are called lawsuit guitars because they were eventually sued over the headstock design, amongst other things. It's a 70s copy of a 50s guitar, and it earned the name the Yellow Peril yesterday, and that is because of Fred Ingram. We were just gonna go play over at Bethel, over at Mount Carmel, which we'll be at Bethel this month. We were just about to play, and Fred said, "Oh, I haven't seen that guitar before," and I was like, "Oh, this one here? You mean the Yellow Peril?" And he thought that was great, and then I remembered that was what my dad. I was like, "Yellow Peril? Where did I get that?" My dad used to run around in a Volkswagen Bug that he called the Yellow Peril, and so we did many a family outing in that car, and so yeah, just like that, this guitar earned itself the name, the Yellow Peril. I've been playing it a lot and really loving it, and I still feel like I've put so much money into that guitar over there, with trying to change the pickup and trying to change the volume and tone and get things that I was going to like and change the setup and the whole thing. And this one I spent $25 on it, and I've done all my own work, and it sounds really good. It annoys me how good it sounds. Let's get into this video here. So this was me playing with Northwest Tempo over at we'll be playing over at Bethel Lutheran with this same band at the end of the month. And what was I going to say about it? I don't know. Just get it going. And oh yeah, I was going to say one of my first notes in the solo is like a wrong note that I actually really liked after the fact, and sometimes that's just how it works out. So I think you can hear this. So you can hear right here, I'm a little confused whether or not the bass solo was over, so I came in with a little something and then I just started picking it up and picking it up. This is sort of a whoopsie solo. So I just kind of held it for a full chorus. And then right here I passed it over to Steve like, hey you. And now Steve's going to pass it over to the drums. Steve had some cool commentary here in between songs, but I just had to cut it out because I could not get it loud enough. So, you know, sometimes you gotta speak up. So, you know, don't want to bother the guy. But yeah, sometimes, you know, I think it's a matter of projection. This is a beautiful song. So it might not be apparent, but not playing is not, doesn't come naturally to me or to anybody. But especially on guitar, like I was intentionally trying to play, less during his solo so that he could dictate where it was going to go. I usually try to start my solos with a strong statement, usually rhythmic. And you could hear I was putting in a rhythmic idea there where I went like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, kind of against the music. Oops, my mic was muted. Of course it was muted. Well, I was going to say, check out the new video up. I just put this video up. Just go ahead and check out the whole thing. I'm going to play one more little bit here. This is when we're playing Killer Joe, and I actually get the audience to. They say that Portlanders can't clap on the 2 and 4, but it's not true. I got everyone to clap on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's because we were at church and people were feeling it, but anyway, it was fun. And then I love Steve and I end up at the end of this. So I'll kind of move around a little bit on this one, and Steve and I end up doing this cool little thing where we're getting kind of intentionally messy at the end there. And it's pretty cool. And I start trying to copy his stuff note for note, and I get within the ballpark. So this is one of those songs that has a long time of just one chord, and then all of a sudden, or two chords, and then all of a sudden it breaks out into this whole other section. But after a while, it just sounds like we're grooving on one chord, and then all of a sudden, boom, switches. I love songs like that. And you can hear here, I had a totally different idea of how I was going to start out my solo, but then Steve did that thing right at the end there. And it took me into fret tapping. Wrong note there, right? But it was, I turned it into a blues pentatonic thing. More fret tapping. All right, so at the end here, Steve and I get into this whole thing. I'll wind up. Yeah, so it was right here, I think, as we're kind of playing out the ending. You can hear that we just vamp on one chord or two chords, and then I'll start like Steve and I start intertwining what we're doing, and then I start like trying to play kind of exactly what he's playing. I get close. Alright, so go check out the video. Let me know what you think. Respectfully. In the comments. And I will see you next time. Alright.